When Toyota launched their luxury division Lexus to North America back in 1989, the company launched the brand with two models, the flagship LS and of course a smaller, more affordable ES. Well, for 2026, the ES is getting its first redesign in years. And as you can see, we are here at Toyota headquarters in Plano, Texas, because the company has finally revealed the all-new 8th generation ES. It's built on an all-new architecture and it has a multi-energy powertrain underneath the hood. So now that we're finally seeing this new luxury sedan in the sheet metal, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. So when Toyota introduced an all-new Camry last year, we knew that Lexus would eventually be introducing their redesigned version. And I have to say, the new ES is moving further and further away from the Camry. This resembles, to me, more like the flagship Crown, but we'll talk about, of course, the dimensions of this car. The first thing I want to do is talk about what's going on underneath the hood, because this is the first time that Lexus is doing a radical shift in what's going on in the powertrain department, because here in America, and in other markets, you can actually get the ES with a total of 3 different powertrains. This model that we're showing you here is the top dog. As you can see, there's actually no motors underneath here. There's sadly no frunk, because remember, this is a TNGA-K architecture that's been redesigned. It has to accommodate a gas powertrain and a fully electric powertrain. So this model that we're showing you is the ES 500E, which means it has dual electric motors for to give you electronic all-wheel drive with their direct force system. Lexus says it has a total of 338 horsepower. 338 would make this the most powerful ES that Lexus has ever produced. If you guys want a front-wheel drive version, there's also an ES 350, which basically has a 221 horsepower electric motor on the front axle. And then, of course, if you want a more traditional gas-powered ES, there's an ES 350H, which basically has their latest 6th generation 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with either 2 or 3 electric motors delivering up to 243 horsepower, available with either front or all-wheel drive. Lexus hasn't talked about what the fuel economy would be of that model, but they did say 0 to 60 should be around 7.4 seconds for the front-wheel drive ES 350H, 7.2 for the all-wheel drive version. Now, if you guys want the electrified models, they should pull their power from a 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack. They didn't actually talk about the battery pack capacity, but it should be similar to what we get, of course, in the new Lexus RZ, which is over to my left. But this model here, Lexus claims, should be good for around 250 miles of range. The best range is going to be the ES 350E front-wheel drive, which should get up to 300 miles of range. So again, those are pretty preliminary figures, but it brings the ES some pretty competitive numbers, although, again, some competitors in the luxury space have gone to around 400 miles of range. I'll be very curious to see how this drives. This model should be able to get to 60 in around 5 seconds, which, again, the most powerful and quickest ES that the company has ever produced. But let's go ahead and close up the hood here and talk about the exterior styling. Now, first of all, this is their very lovely copper crest exterior color. It flows beautifully with the lines of the brand new ES because it showcases their latest design language. As you can see, the front end has their new spindle body grille, which is completely enclosed because this is a fully electric model. Down here, you can see there are some air openings, which I believe include some active grille shutters, of course. The color, as you can see, flows very nicely into the redesigned headlights. So the headlights, as you can see, have a new look where they have a split design, which is very trendy. They also have that Nike swoosh here where you have that L design for the daytime running lights. You have the LED headlights down here, and then it looks like you also have LED fog lights. I don't really know if I like how it's kind of blacked out on this portion here where the headlight is, but it certainly does look pretty bold. If you guys go for the hybrid version of this car with the gas engine, you'll have a little mail slot grille opening here that allows for some functional cooling. But overall, you can really see just how much bigger this car is because Lexus says at 75.5 inches wide, it's actually around 2 inches wider than the previous generation. It's also around 4 inches taller. Again, Toyota did that and Lexus did that because they had to accommodate a battery pack that will line the floor of this vehicle that essentially causes the roof to raise up, which is pretty similar to the Toyota Crown. It gives the vehicle more interior space, more headroom, of course, which should allow for this vehicle to be easier to get in and out of because that's what makes sedans a little bit difficult versus SUVs. But moving around the rest of the side profile, you can see this is a big sedan at an overall length of 202.3 with a 116-inch long wheelbase. This is around 6.5 inches longer than the previous generation. Its wheelbase is around 3 inches longer. This vehicle is actually only around 4 inches shorter than the Lexus LS, which is their current flagship, which makes me wonder, is Lexus going to discontinue the LS? Only time will tell. They didn't really want to talk about that at this reveal event. So as you can see, the wheels, these are the wheels that you get. They're unique with the 500E model. You can see they are a 21-inch design, 235 by 45 with a kind of like an aerodynamic cover, all disc brakes of course, and this vehicle has a McPherson strut suspension with a first ever multi-link design at the rear, so that gives the vehicle better handling of course. They didn't talk about if it had adaptive dampers, but I would assume it does. This right here is the charge port door. Sadly, it's an early pre-production car and I can't get it to open. I believe it's a power actuated door. This car will launch, if you guys go for the electric models, with their NAC plug, so it's gonna have the access to Tesla superchargers. Lexus didn't really talk about what the charging rate would be. However, they probably are also going to mention that this vehicle should take around 30-ish minutes to charge. It should have the same battery pack as the RZ over there. And you can see there's also a really interesting design element here along the side where you kind of have almost like an L shape along the side profile. It also is actually inset a little bit to give this thing a little bit more texture. It certainly draws your eye down low. The door handles, as you can see, also are flush. You actually have to stick your hand in here and push a little pressure pad to actually open the door, so that's a new feature. And then you can see for the first time ever, Lexus offers a panoramic sunroof on the ES, which is a feature that you couldn't get before. You could only just get a standard size sunroof, and you can really see just the increase in the roof height because this vehicle is around 61.9 inches tall. The old model, remember, was 4 inches lower, so that really gives you a lot more interior space, a lot more headroom. That's important when you guys are coming from an SUV, you want to go back to a sedan. Looking at the rear of the new ES is certainly very bold. I love the design language that Lexus is going here. It has that trendy LED light bar going across the back. The Lexus badge here, as you can see, is spelling out Lexus, and it's also illuminated, which looks great. You also have some minimal badging back here. There's an ES 500E all-wheel drive badge. The 500E is going to come standard, of course, with all-wheel drive. The rear bumper, as you can see, also has an interesting design where the L-shape elements are also carried over back here, and that's actually the turn signal. The turn signal is actually in the lower portion of the bumper. It is a full LED design, of course, with some integrated rear parking sensors. You have a full 360 camera with, of course, that digital camera rearview mirror. And even though this car kind of has like a sport back design, the one thing I noticed is when you open this up, you do have a power opening trunk. It's actually just a standard a trunk here for a traditional sedan. I actually wish that Lexus would have made it a hatchback, but you can see here, because the vehicle is so much larger, the trunk definitely looks larger as well. Now, they didn't have final cargo figures just yet for us, but as you can see, it looks like a ski pass-through for the backseat area. If you look underneath here, there's a little bit of underfloor storage, although I was expecting it to have a little bit more considering there's no front trunk storage. The old ES had around 14 cubic feet of space. I would estimate this one's probably more like 15 cubic feet because it basically looks like it has the same, if not more, cargo capacity versus the flagship LS sedan. All right, so moving on to the interior of the fully redesigned 2026 Lexus ES. I have to say, guys, getting in and shutting the door, remember this is built on a redesigned version of the TNGA K architecture. The door actually had a pretty solid sounding thunk, and this is again going to be starting a new era for Lexus for their interior design, their interior craftsmanship, and of course technology, because they're trying to attract a younger buyer here. And I have to say, this is the luxury 500E model. So this is going to be the top spec in terms of material quality, in terms of the technology. The seats in this car, first of all, this is their upgraded leather material. They are heated and ventilated, of course, and they have a really nice plush feeling to them. They also have a completely redesigned seats. The seats adjust, I believe, in 14 different ways. And you also get a 3-person memory on the driver and on the passenger side, which again kind of shows you that they're trying to move the ES a little more further up market. They're trying to make it almost feel like an LS to me. It makes me question if the LS is going to stick around. Now, looking at the door panels, I mean, check out the lighting that you see in here. First of all, this right here is actually bamboo wood that's kind of 3D printed that allows light to pass through there. And you can see the light, along with the light in the speaker here, creates a really beautiful high-tech ambiance. In terms of the materials, you guys are probably wondering, did Lexus skimp here? And you can see the upper door panel here has a soft touch injection molded plastic. This area here is covered in the same plush leather that you get on the seats. It's nice and padded where you'd rest your elbows. You have that digital latch system where you basically just push that, it'll open up the doors. And then the lower panel, it is a hard touch plastic with an additional storage, of course. And then this model here has the upgraded Mark Levinson stereo. Overall, the door panel does look pretty nice, although I would have liked this to be a little bit more stitched leather. The rest of the dash, as you can see, brand new steering wheel. And the steering wheel, as you can see, also has a new Lexus badge here that spells out Lexus. I remember when they first introduced this in 2022. Now they're putting it on the steering wheel. It also includes, of course, a power tilt and telescoping mechanism, and then you have a brand new infotainment system. Now, the software behind this is their Lexus interface, but it's their latest system. It has a customizable home screen. Some of the software has been changed out in terms of the graphics. You have a 12.3-inch digital cluster here for the instrument panel, although it has a really interesting, almost like triangle-ish shape to it. This is also slightly customizable. You can control it via these little controls here on the steering wheel. This is a really early prototype, so I'll have to wait until I, get a hold of one that's a little bit more production ready to talk about that. The center here, as you can see, is a massive 14-inch display. So the previous ES topped out at around 12.3. This is, of course, now a little bit larger. It also looks very Tesla-like. In fact, it sits up very high in the dash, pretty similar to a Tesla. I like the, the perfect rectangle or square shape of it as well. It includes features like wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can see this is the software that I'm typically used to seeing here, where you can adjust a couple of things over there, but then it gives you another few more buttons over here. There's 5 different options. You can see there's an electric meter there because this model that we're showing you is fully electric. You can see your heated and ventilated seats are located in the screen, along with your heated steering wheel controls, along with your climate controls here. This is definitely quicker and snappier. Although, again, this is, an early prototype model, but I have to say it looks fantastic. Supposedly, there's also an available passenger display, but I'm not sure if that's coming to the US. They didn't mention that. It basically would put a screen here, which would be a little bit too ridiculous. The dash, as you can see, has a soft touch injection molded plastic. There's more of that ambient lighting here that kind of has this really interesting texture which matches the door panel. Then, of course, you can see on the rest of this little area here, this is kind of like a matte gray with some aluminum trim. You have an aluminum volume knob here, and then you also have these little touch-sensitive buttons. This is something that we've seen in something like the Nissan Ariya, where the buttons actually don't light up until you actually turn the car on, which is a first for Lexus. You have traditional air vents, as you can see down here, which looks great. Your start-stop button is located here. It's a really good location because it doesn't get blocked by the steering wheel. You also have entirely brand new switchgear here for the turn signals, for the windshield wipers. The window controls also have a really nice high-quality metal feel to them. This is, again, a new switchgear for Lexus, along with the new airbag cover there. And then in the center console here, you can see you've got a brand new shifter. You've got dual wireless phone charging pads. You have some more of that bamboo wood trim, along with some real leather going across here with 2 USB-C charging ports. This is the gear selector that controls the transmission. Remember, this is all electric. It's a single-speed reduction gear. If you put the vehicle into reverse, which I can't do right now, it will bring up a full 360 camera, I believe. Typically, there's a button here, but I don't see it. Remember, this is a really early first look. Over here, you can see cup holders, which actually have a lid that closes. This is, again, kind of an adapter that it looks like Toyota and Lexus will give you if you guys want to go to a J1772 from the NIC plug. This car does come with an NIC plug, of course. There's a nice padded center console. If I open that up, you can see it actually opens up in 2 different ways, I believe. Maybe. Well, it's supposed to, but the other side's not opening. As you can see, it's a relatively deep storage. You have a USB-C in there, and then you can see above me there is a panoramic sunroof. This is the first time you can get a panoramic roof in an ES. It doesn't go into the backseat area, but it's definitely nice in the sense that you kind of get that additional light coming through. A pano, remember, it was never available in the ES before. You also have a digital camera rearview mirror, along with a digital or auto dimming rearview mirror with kind of like the frameless design, which is nice. And as you can see, Rob got this to finally open, so it does open up in 2 ways, which is a great feature. The headliner material you can see is kind of a woven material, but overall, I'm pretty impressed. This feels almost like a flagship vehicle, but I love what Lexus has done here with their new technology, their new styling. You have the beautiful ambient lighting. The glove box, as you can see, it goes into the dash. It's damped but not lined with felt. And then you can see you also have more of those touch-sensitive buttons, which will light up when you guys first turn the car on and whatnot. So this is a really interesting interior color combination as well. But I think Lexus has really killed it in terms of making this car feel a lot more modern and a lot more technologically advanced. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area, show you guys what that space is like. Now, getting back here, as you can see, because the new ES has been stretched, and I mean stretched, this car's overall length is over 6.5 inches longer. Its wheelbase is 3 inches longer, and Lexus doesn't have the final legroom figures just yet, but this is not my driving position, but at 5'7", I can literally stretch back here and get super comfortable. There isn't a flat floor here, which doesn't surprise me because this car's powertrain, or the platform, is designed to accommodate an internal combustion and a fully electric platform. You can see this trim also includes the retractable sunshades. Door panel materials are also slightly soft touch injection molded plastic. It's also leather here, more of that beautiful bamboo wood that has the illumination kind of peeking through the 3D printed style of the wood. And then you can see Mark Levinson stereo, nice leather over here, more of that really high quality window switches and whatnot. So rest of the backseat area, you can see, fold this down, there is a little bit of storage, it looks like, along with some cup holders that actually pop out. Now also for the first time ever, if you guys go for an ES350 front wheel drive the front wheel drive electric version, you can now get an executive rear seat package that basically allows you to turn this side over here into like an ottoman where it actually folds out. You can also get heated, ventilated, and massaging seats in the back seat area. That is only available on the front wheel drive electric version of the car. But as you can see, headroom space, because the roof is also around 4 inches taller, I have a solid maybe 3 inches of additional headroom clearance. The sunroof does take up space, but I'm shocked. For those of you who are again looking at the LS, trying to find a replacement, you're gonna find a lot to like here. You can see the vents back here. You have some more of that illumination. You have USB-C charging ports, of course. No heated rear seats on this particular model, which actually surprises me. I'm not sure if this will eventually pop out, but that's a feature, again, you'll have to go with to get the executive rear seat package. It really turns the backseat area of the new ES into your own private sanctuary. Now, in a world where so many manufacturers are introducing SUVs all the time, it is always very refreshing to me to be talking about a brand new sedan, more specifically a luxury sedan that it really is part of the Lexus heritage, the Lexus DNA. So after finally seeing the all-new ES in person, I have to say I'm a big fan of what this car looks like. I think Lexus has taken the technology to the next level by introducing, again, bolder screens, bigger screens that's going to introduce a younger buyer. The fact that they are offering this vehicle with a hybrid and 2 electrified powertrains, or fully electric powertrains, also was a big surprise. Now, of course, it is a little bit sad that the V6 has been discontinued, but again, this is a car that's going to be the most powerful ES, the quickest ES, and at up to 300 miles of range, it is certainly competitive. And if you guys want more, there's also going to be a hybrid version again, which I actually expect to be the volume seller. Now, Lexus actually did around 44,000 ESs in America last year, which actually is a pretty strong number considering everybody tends to buy sedans. Now, while the company wasn't ready to talk about pricing just yet for this new model, I would estimate that the pricing is going to be a lot more because the current ES is around $43,000 at around $1,500 for the hybrid version. If you guys want this version here, you're going to have to wait probably until later this year. And I would estimate that the base hybrid model is probably going to start closer to just under $50,000. We have no idea what something like this is going to cost, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Lexus significantly increase the price of this model specifically because, again, we have no idea if Lexus is going to keep the flagship LS in the lineup for the time being. But overall, if you guys are in the market for a new luxury sedan, you want something that, again, has that traditional Lexus DNA, but also takes it up to the next level in terms of technology with, of course, the Lexus reputation for reliability and build quality, you should definitely be checking out this new ES when it hits dealer showrooms later this year. For Redline Reviews here at Toyota's HQ Confidential, I'm Sofyan Bey.